welcome to my show, the new Manzoor. I'm really excited to show tonight because for the first time I have a guest here with me in the studio. Hi, Anthony. This is Anthony Culver. He's the marketing manager of Fraser International College. শুরুতে আমাদের সাউন্ড একটু সমস্যা ছিল। I hope you can hear me now. ইন্ট্রোটা প্লে করতে যে সাউন্ড সুন্দর করে প্লে করছিল না। আমরা আজকে কথা বলবো স্টুডেন্ট জার্নি নিয়ে। তো এই যে কানাডা আমরা পিক করেছি ফ্রেজার ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কলেজ থেকে যে ট্রানজিশন ইউনিভার্সিটি অ্যাপ্লিকেশন ভার্সিটিতে পড়ার সময় এবং তারপরে এসএফইতে যাওয়ার ব্যাপারটা এবং উই অলসো হ্যাভ অ্যান অ্যালামনাই উইথ আস যে এখন কাজ করছে তো পুরো পুরো ট্রানজিশন নিয়ে আমরা আজকে সার্কেলটা যেভাবে করে হয় আর আজকে অ্যান্থনি আমার সাথে টরন্টোতে বসে শোটা টেক করছি এখানে কিছুটা লিনিয়েন্ট আমরা যার জন্য পসিবল হচ্ছে শোটা করবার জন্য let's get started but before I get started I wanted to introduce our whole panel to you we have with us the students that we have with us Saima Noor Chaudhary.
Hi guys, I'm Saima. Nice to meet you all.
Student at SFU. Hi Saima. Then we have Aryan with us.
Hi guys.
He's also at SFU now. He's doing his second year. And we have Ashik, who has graduated and is now working. So we want to learn about their journeys. Before that, I wanted to, because we have Anthony here with us, I wanted to talk from him the stages that a student goes through when they're getting into transitioning from FIC to SFU. Anthony, let's start at the beginning. So UTP stage 1 is the first step. So from Bangladesh, how do we get into UTP stage 1?
Great question. So a lot of students are very excited to start their study, to go and get that university experience. If you're and if you have completed your O-level, then that is a great time to apply to Fraser International College. You can apply for a program called UTP Stage 1. It is an 8-month foundation style program, and then it transfers up into UTP Stage 2.
So O-level pore you can get into UTP Stage 1, the 8 মাসের একটা program. So O-level করবার পরে, so you're saving 2 years. A-level not for O-level করবার পরে, you get into UTP Stage 1, and then so that's for O-levels. That's the starting point. So what about the HSC students and the A-level?
So for students who have HSC, for A-levels, and when we talk about A-levels, we're generally talking about 2 academic subjects. We need C's above. Most of the programs, we have some flexibility. If you have math, that definitely helps out. But 2 A-levels will get you into UTP Stage 2. And that's equivalent to first-year university at Salem University with a lot more support, looking at more interaction with your instruction, more engagement, making sure that you are comfortable and really hitting the ground running to make sure they're smooth for you.
What about HSC?
For the students, generally, we're looking at 65% average in 4 academic subjects for the majority of our courses. Now, these courses are such a wide range. We're talking about business, we're talking about arts and social sciences. We've got some fantastic students looking at communications, health sciences is optional as well. If we start talking about engineering or computer sciences, there, we generally will ask for mathematics. If you don't have it, again, we're flexible. We will find a way to support you into your desired.
So with A-levels, if you have 2 subjects, you can get to UTP Stage 2. যেটা হচ্ছে university first. So তাহলে extra year করতে হচ্ছে সেই বছরের মধ্যেই ডিগ্রি শেষ করতে পারছো। আর HSC এর জন্য 60% GPA person they're getting into stage 2. So HSC 60% পেলেই তুমি একইভাবে 4 বছর তোমার ডিগ্রি শেষ হচ্ছে ফার্স্ট ইয়ারে যেখানে তুমি UTP Stage 2 করতে ইউনিভার্সিটি ফার্স্ট ইয়ার ইকুইভ্যালেন্টই হচ্ছে স্ট্যান্ডার্ড so that's about the courses so now I think I need to ask you to say a little bit about the FIC first.
Of course.
We got into the entry requirements.
that into making sure you have the information to get. But what you get into is really a community-minded college. And we call ourselves a college, but we think very much like a mini university because we are on the campus of Simon Fraser University. FIC uses the course content from our university partner, and we provide those courses. And again, it's such a wide range of different subjects, everything from mechatronics engineering to political science, the field that I graduated in. But looking at these programs, making sure that you're comfortable in your first year and not just doing well academically, but also understanding the structure of Canadian academics, understanding Vancouver itself and enjoying it. And I'm quite excited to hear from our students about their transition to Vancouver and what they're doing these days. But also, when we talk about FIC, we have that built-in transfer into Simon Fraser University. So you are coming in second year with a guaranteed transfer based on the GPA requirements. And so approximately 93% of our students who complete UTD Stage 2 transfer successfully into second year. Continue from there, they'll start to look at opportunities like SFG co-op program, which spans every single different program. Really, at that point, the sky is, it's up to you.
So basically, if I see what of course, it offers the extra support. It also offers a, if I can say, like, we were discussing just the other week when we were doing the show on foundation, the VIP entry to the university.
Very much, very much. You're treated almost as an FIC and you hybrid student
Right.
from day one. Your letter of offer, regardless of if it's for UTD Stage 1, is always going to be a letter of offer. So I love
And
it.
the offer comes in much quicker.
Yeah.
So if we were to apply to SFU directly, I mean, that would take months because, there are all these applications. But with FIC, not only do they have the support while they're as students, even for the application stage, they're getting a faster decision.
Faster decision.
They may apply much later.
Exactly. We don't have deadlines. We always apply, make sure, encourage you to apply early, but we're always going to be there to help.
I want to talk to Saima at this point. Saima, you did your A levels from Scholastica, and then
Yes.
you chose FIC. I want to learn about your journey. What made you decide on FIC?
So after my A levels, should I speak in Bangla or should I speak in English?
Bangla and English.
Okay. So sorry.
Bangla and English মিলাই করলে ভালো হবে, which is great.
Okay. So আমার A levels শেষ করার পর আমার grades were kind of okay. They weren't as satisfactory. So তখন আমার অনেকগুলো রাস্তা বন্ধ হয়ে গিয়েছিল and I was really confused about what to do next and what kind of steps I should be taking to continue the things I am passionate about, the subject I'm passionate about, which is like international relations or international studies. And I'm really into diplomacy, and তখন I was like really stuck, and তখন that's where Macy's came in and they helped me out. They like showed me options that I had, and that's how I got introduced to FIC. And it was like they showed me a pathway যেটা দিয়ে আমার medium grades দিয়েও I could like pursue an education বাইরে কোথাও in a country like Canada.
It's one of the
And
top universities in Canada.
yeah, and like in a reputed university like Simon Fraser University,
তো তোমার কাছে সাপোর্টটা কেমন মনে হয় যে তুমি যখন মানে বাংলাদেশ থেকে আসলে প্রথম সাপোর্ট আমরা সবসময় বলছি যে FIC the support is really great, ওই সাপোর্টটা হেল্প করে not only academically but cultural transition দিতেও হেল্প করে, so how did you find it? মানে আমরা how did you find it?
FIC actually helped me a lot because first the transition is not just academic which is like পড়াশোনার ওয়েটা different, একটু different from Bangladesh. There are new concepts such as academic integrity and a lot of those things যেগুলা বাংলাদেশে আমরা শিখি না, বাট এখানে অনেক নেসেসারি, এখানে অনেক দরকার। সো এই জিনিসগুলো এফআইসি আমাকে শিখিয়েছে, এন্ড এই জিনিসগুলো লাইক জাস্ট একদিনে শিখা যায় না, যে লাইক ওই প্রসেসটা আমি স্টেজ ওয়ানে যখন এসেছি ওই প্রসেসটার থ্রুতে আমি ভালোভাবে শিখেছি। এন্ড নাও আই হ্যাভ লাইক, so I'm double majoring in political science and international studies, which means I have to do অনেক লেখা and অনেক reading.
Right.
And yeah, so
Knowledge-টা বাড়াতে হবে।
and
But
so
you chose this subject.
sorry.
Amazing that you chose this subject.
Like I always was passionate about diplomacy, so that is how I decide course I wanted to study I wanted to study political science and international studies. And এখানে এসে I was like adamant যে I had this option, I have this opportunity. So and FIC literally আমাকে train up করেছে how to write academic papers, how to like analyze the readings proper ওয়েতে, how to follow the বিভিন্ন ধরনের citation systems and all of those stuff. Additionally, I would say there was like the cultural transition and like the transition in lifestyle, which FIC helped me as well, because FIC is a really social একটা জায়গা যেখানে we meet new people, we meet people like ourselves যারা struggle করে নতুন সোসাইটির সাথে with renting places to food, cooking food and everything. So ওই transitionটা FIC has helped me meet a lot of people.
যেটা তোমাকে help thrive করতে help করেছে।
They were like so FIC has like student led groups such as peer education যেটাতে আমি নিজে ছিলাম. There's FIC Act, and there are like এরকম ছোট ছোট groups who actually like it's student led basically, and they help other students go through these transitions and socialize. Like
Great.
for example, আমি peer education এ ছিলাম. I was in peer education, and it was like Jim, so I the subjects I was good in, I had to help other students who are taking the courses. And then so that gave me a lot of insight, and I could help with other new students with my own experiences. So
Great.
that is something that was really helpful for me as well.
That's amazing. So everything that Anthony has been talking about how great FIC is, so the students are also confirming that.
Yeah, it's really like it has helped me a lot as a person, and I could see a lot of other people, other new students being developed through FIC.
That's great. Aryan, how do you আমার কাছে একটু আমরা শুনলাম ওর ইয়েটা এক্সপেরিয়েন্সটা কেমন ছিল, তোমার এক্সপেরিয়েন্সটা কেমন ছিল?
Uh, Firstly, thank you.
Yes, right? তুমি তো ডিপিএস থেকে এসেছো।
Yes, I'm from DBS. Firstly, Tina Apu, thank you for having me here today. It's great. Vancouver is a bit cranky today with the weather. It's a bit wet outside, but otherwise, as I would like to mention, FIC, in general, my whole transition into university was a very smooth one compared to a lot of the other stories that you hear all the time. Especially when you come from a background from like me, or like when you come from a stage or position like me, because I didn't finish high school, right? I had to come to Canada as soon as I finished my AS levels. So I had to start looking for places. And it's interesting because you asked how the whole situation was, right, when I was coming here. It's interesting because in Bangladesh recently it's much more possible to come out of finish AS levels or O levels and then transition into university. Before it would have been much harder to do that because you would have to have A2 scores, you would have to have grade 12 scores in order to even apply for university. So I feel like
I think আমাদের parents-রা সবাইও because of all the information that's out there are more accepting.
Exactly, yeah, that is very true. Even
15 years ago, so আগে যেটা ছিল যে ওই acceptance-টা ওরকম করেছে, they all thought যে না ইউনিভার্সিটিতেই যেতে হবে, ইউনিভার্সিটি আগে আবার কি? So
exactly, that was most of the more of the case. And then my parents thankfully were the kind of people who were like, you're already, we know you're going to go abroad, might as well go early and then finish your education there and go into it.
Or UTB stage 2?
I started in UTB stage 1.
UTB
and
stage
that's how I progress myself through the.
what did that program do for you? Like the spending the 8 months at UTB stage one.
So
What?
in stage one, it was more of like preliminary course where you actually learn how to study in Canada. That's mainly the main purpose of that whole 8 month segment where you actually learn what to do for university. Because most of the time when you come to university after finishing grade 12, you're kind of thrusted into this whole sphere where you gotta
And how
rush. You're to the ground running.
is for 6 to 8 months the adjusting period till though. So you're
Exactly, exactly.
that out. Yeah.
So I feel like UTB one kind of cushions that out. It's much more smoother. Instructors are way more like they'll be more personalized towards you. They'll help you with whatever you want, whatever support you need. And the courses themselves are so kind of designed in a way that they are not at the same level. They teach you what to do in the first year of university, but at the same time they aren't as like rigorous or they aren't as grappling as first year would be. They
Right.
teach you to learn right and all.
Then you move to the first year.
Yeah.
So I
So
think for both of you, I feel like that's very relevant. The point that you make that even after doing your A levels, which itself is a very rigorous curriculum, you
yeah,
still need that support or that definitely helps. That extra
yes,
support you get
for
at
sure.
that
It's because the grade 12 or Cambridge system, and by the end of it, like when you're in grade 12, it becomes so rigid that you're in a system. And then when you come here, everything's like you get to do whatever you want. You design your whole career, and we're gonna give you the different materials, but it's not gonna be rigid. You have to figure that out yourself. So you come here and you're like, okay, so what do I do now? But with the UTP one, I felt like when I came here, they kind of guided me and kind of showed me the options that I had, and then went like, okay, you have done UTP one, go to UTP two and choose your path now. Do your future, make your career.
you sort of had somebody sort of mentor or essentially hold your hand to go into those stages. I mean,
Exactly. That was most of the case. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to add that the classes being small is really helpful, as well as Aryan mentioned, that professors pay attention there to each individual student and help Kore whenever we need. So that actually helped. And stage two, the best part was it is equivalent to the first year of university, the first year of SFU. So basically we were in FIC, but then we were like getting credits and doing all the courses that are in SFU. So as Anthony mentioned, it is kind of like a small university,
Yeah.
like very related to SFU and the curriculum.
Yeah, not to add, the community there was so interconnected. Everybody knew everyone, and like even when I moved to SFU, I feel kind of sad because I no longer feel special anymore. I'm like, everything's so
now
big, it's so hard your pond.
system.
Yeah.
Anthony, you're a graduate of SFU. So how do
Mhm.
you see this transfer from FIC to SFU?
Yeah, it's quite interesting because when I was started at FI or Simon Fraser University, I was put in very large classes, and that first year is tricky because you don't learn everything right away. And there's some tricks and strategies that are definitely helpful that weren't presented to me until I went and found those answers.
So you wish you had an FIC support.
In some ways, I do. In some ways, very much. I wish I did because one of the things that the academic advisors at FIC tell every single student is to meet with their instructors at least twice a semester. If you do that, and that really only costs you, let's say, 15 minutes and 15 minutes, so 30 minutes. But if you do that every single semester, your grades are actually going to improve by 10%. It saves you so much time, it saves you a lot of energy, and it's so simple. But coming in directly, there's some simple tricks that FIC really makes sure that its student knows and supports its students with this kind of information. So I am actually a little jealous.
So
Yeah,
what's the
we kind of.
they need when they want to transfer
Mm-hmm.
from E to be stage two to
Yeah.
SFQ?
So for most of the programs, we're looking at a 2.5 out of 4.3, If we're talking about engineering, computing sciences, or sciences, we're looking at a 2.75. Now that's around a B minus average, B average.
So it's essentially like you're the same university going from the first year to the second year.
Exactly.
So it's nothing special. Like
it's not as
nothing different. Yeah.
as people make it out to be. It's not as black and white. It very much is blurred because FIC students can join SFU student clubs. It's on the same campus. The majority of FIC instructors are actually coming from SFU. So there's so much interconnectedness. And even when I start talking and working with my counterparts at SFU, it feels like we are in the same team.
So there's essentially very well integrated.
Yes.
So আমরা যেটা বলছিলাম যে FIC আর SFU ক্লাসেস সবকিছুই খুবই ইন্টিগ্রেটেড অন SFU টিচার্সরাই এসে FIC তে পড়াচ্ছে মানে একসাথে ক্লাসও করছে স্টুডেন্টরা সো ওরা আসলে ওই ডিভাইডটাই বুঝতে পারে না হ্যাঁ এটা কিছু এক্সট্রা সাপোর্ট আছে ও যেটা অ্যাডভাইস করলো যে একাডেমিক অ্যাডভাইজারের সাথে রেগুলারলি মিট করা প্রতি সেমেস্টার একবার করে বাট ওই জিনিসগুলো ট্রানজিশনটা পুরো হেল্প করছে বাট কখনোই ফিল করবে না যে আমি আলাদা কিছু একটা they always think that they are part of the whole SFU ecosystem. Ashik, our coveted alumni, we want to talk to you now. So Ashik has done the whole. He was at FIC, then he transitioned to SFU, and now he's working. We কোথায় কাজ করছো Ashik?
আমি এখন Motorola Solutions এ কাজ করি. I'm a video producer at Motorola.
Oh wow! So how did that happen? What did you study at SFU?
I took communications, but my journey, well, at least my decision to take communication wasn't so straightforward because I was really confused when I got to.
Bangladesh especially.
Yeah, exactly. And I have always kind of played around with digital art and digital content creation, but I never for a second I thought you can make a career out of it because nobody told me that I could, right? It was you either be a computer engineer or a doctor, or at least be an accountant. Yeah, exactly. So, and the diversity of career choices out there was never explained to me. It's actually I what I do and where I work, I owe so much to SFU and FIC in particular. If I could tell you a backstory how I ended up.
Yes.
So so I started FIC. I came to FIC with U2P1 in mind. I never bothered with A levels while I was in Bangladesh. I just had to get out. But when I came to FIC, I think I was trying to pursue a computers degree or a business, like I said. But I could never get my heart into it. I was okay at it, but I never enjoyed doing it. But then my student advisor then, who actually she will come back in my story later. But my student advisor then she like I was really close to her, and she would give me like really good personalized advices, like, oh, try taking this course and that course. Maybe communication is the way forward for you. And I did, and communication was great, right? And it had political science in it, it had economic science in it. So it was like everything I needed and everything I wanted at the same time. So after I graduated SFU with communication and media design, my advisor, now 5 years later, she is the principal of FIC. And then she offered me a position working at FIC as a marketing coordinator who would specialize in video. So so for like 8 months, I think I worked at FIC as a marketing coordinator. So did you have a question?
Now you work for your own school. That must have been great.
Yeah, it was great, really, because I was working in a place that I knew. No, it was fantastic. I couldn't ask for anything more. So, anyways, while I was working at FIC as a marketing coordinator, someone from Motorola Solutions reached out and they offered me a job as a video producer, working for them. And I got recruited by Motorola, but that's only because I had my LinkedIn updated with the proper title as a video marketing person at FIC.
That's great. So when did this happen? How long have you been working?
I think I just last year February is when I joined Motorola.
So little more than a year. So for you, I feel that the transition was pretty smooth.
From
মানে কাজ পাওয়ার জন্য তোমার জন্য transition was very
oh,
smooth.
yeah, for sure. Like Kutch, it wasn't that difficult. Well, I think how work relating to visa and work permit is much easier now. I came to Canada. I landed in Vancouver in 2010 September, and back then you couldn't even work on a student visa and stuff. But even then, I did manage to work for SFU IT services. So even when I was a student, um, so I worked for SFU IT services for 4 years. So that's like my entirety of my student life. I was still working and studying as a student.
So you were, I
So
mean, you always have that. That's good then.
yeah, I always had like a knock on wood, a steady income where I could take care of myself. Tuition fees not so much maybe, but at least my living expenses I could pick that up myself.
And I think the best part is that because you followed your passion, I mean, and that land, it doesn't have to be that the regular profession that people do, but you followed your passion, and that's why you're good at it, and that came through in your work.
Absolutely. I love what I do, and I have the dream job really because I'm making videos, I'm making kick-ass videos, and I get to travel. I'm so lucky to have a job that has amazing benefits, and people as well.
So that's great. Aryan and Saima, আমি তোমাদের কাছে আসতে চাই যে তোমরা কি what are you planning? Because Saima, you're in your third year now. So what are you planning? Will you graduate next year?
Maybe next to next year, because there is opportunity at SFU for co-op positions. Co-op is like আমার সাবজেক্ট রিলেটেড জবস। সো আমি প্ল্যান করছি নেক্সট ইয়ারটা কোঅপ করতে, সো দ্যাট আমি মানুষ
এক বছর কাজ করতে পারবে।
1 বছর করলে আমি এসএফইউ এর ইটা পাবো। সো 1 বছর করতে যাচ্ছি বিভিন্ন, আই ক্যান ডু ইট ইন ওয়ান প্লেস, আই ক্যান ডু ইট ইন ডিফারেন্ট প্লেসেস, যেটা আমার সাবজেক্ট রিলেটেড। অ্যান্ড আই ফিল লাইক যে এটা আমাকে অনেকটা এক্সপোজার দিবে আমার লাইনের মানুষজনকে চিনতে, অ্যান্ড আমার লাইনের কাজকর্মগুলো বুঝতে, কি ধরনের কাজের সাথে কাজ করতে হবে, অ্যান্ড রিয়েল লাইফ এক্সপিরিয়েন্স। সো নেটওয়ার্কিংটা, জি জি। সো অ্যাজ ভাইয়া বললো যে ইউনিভার্সিটির এক্সপিরিয়েন্সটার কারণে ইউনিভার্সিটিতে জব করলে অনেক ধরনের আই ক্যান গেট অপরচুনিটিস লেটার অ্যান্ড আই ক্যান অ্যাড ইট টু মাই লিঙ্কডইন অ্যান্ড রেজুমে। সো দ্য co-op positions will also help me এভাবে করে। সো ওই জন্য আই এম প্ল্যানিং co-op নেক্সট ইয়ার অ্যান্ড তারপর ইনশাল্লাহ গ্রাজুয়েট।
Aryan, you're at your second year, তোমার এখন তো টাইম আছে।
Yeah, I just recently transferred to SFU like this semester in summer. So like from the start, I've been trying to kind of position myself in a way so that I can make up my career, right? So right now, I'm also working with FIC's marketing teams. I'm working with Anthony in terms of marketing promotional stuff as well as webinars and all that.
You have positioned yourself right place.
Yeah, I've been doing all of that as well as I'm trying to do a lot of other marketing promotional related stuff. So digital marketing in terms of that. I'm trying to probably go into music as well as maybe video content creation and all that.
What are you studying at SFU?
Oh, so I'm the same as Ashik Bhai. I'm studying communications at the moment.
Acha.
So, like, yeah, that's
You made a great choice.
yeah.
Someone who will help you with later on.
I couldn't hear.
দরকার হবে তোমার তো অ্যালামনাই কন্ট্যাক্টও আছে, যখন নেটওয়ার্কিং এর দরকার হবে কাজ পাওয়ার জন্য you have
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm trying to network as much as possible with mostly like the international community here as well as the Bangladeshi community, because it's like so interconnected. Everything, like everybody knows everyone at this point, And if you if you don't really stay connected with them, you might as well not look for a job, because in the future it will be dependent on how much you know people and how connected you are in terms of where you want to go, because that's what sets you apart. You see, it's like networking is the key aspect to it. Networking actually gets your foot in the door, and then you make your way from there.
Yeah,
So
you
I
have to be pretty proactive
yeah,
when looking for a job and make connections for sure.
yeah.
I think
And
And
people
Nama,
might like, sorry, like people might see the resume and just like go through your resume, but in person network gulate they will actually know you, how you are as a person and a work and like in workplace.
now thank you তোমাকে এটা bring up করার জন্য because I feel যে as students or as আমাদের জানা দরকার বাংলাদেশীদের যে you have to, but looking for a job is actually a job as well. You have to do it proactively. Just এক কয়েকটা রেজিউমে কোথাও মেইল করে দিলেই যে হবে না, এই জিনিসটাকে বুঝতে হবে আর কি। নেটওয়ার্ক বিল্ড করা এটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট, সো we get that from you. আমি I like listening to student stories, so I wanted to ask each of you, as international students being away from home, uh, it cannot always be fun and games. There must have been times when you struggled. So if you could remember, if you could share with us some stories where you struggled and how you pulled yourself from it, because ওখানে তো essentially তুমি একাই আছো, নিজেকে you have that support, but how you pulled through. কেউ যদি, who wants to?
you,
Ariana,
yeah, I'll go with it. So when I first came here, I always had the frigid mindset that we have when we come from like a Asian country or South Asian country, where you gotta finish a specific kind of degree, right? I came here with a business in mind, right? I wanted to do a business degree. I wanted to have that kind of glare to my whole personal. Like when I graduate, people will be like, "Oh, he graduated from BD School of Business," or he actually has a business degree. But after coming here, I realized that strengths play a huge role in your career. So when you're in school, you can go like, okay, I'll do this. I'll eventually do this. I'll accomplish this. I'll get this done. But in university, when you're here, you start to realize that you have to position yourself according to your strengths and abilities, rather than ifs and buts. You gotta really have to make sure that you know what you're doing, and you make position yourself so that you can make the most out of your degree. And there was a position in my life when I was in UTP 2, when I was trying to do a business degree, and I realized how much I sucked at math. I could I couldn't do it for the life of me. Like I tried so hard, and like numbers don't go well with me. Even my parents know that. They talk to me about it all the time. They go like, "How are you not good at math?" Because my sister, on the other hand, is an economic analyst at like Washington D.C., and she's good with numbers all the time. So there was surprise, and I tried to do my best in trying to get there, but then I realized that rather than pushing myself in a direction that I think is the best, would not be the right option. Rather, I would go in a direction where I'd be strong, and I can make a proper future for myself, and make a proper like kind of field or sphere for myself where I could do best, and like I would be able to achieve much more than I could have in business. I feel like even when I'm in communications, I can achieve the same career path I wanted to do in business, because at the end of the day, business or communications, I want to do marketing, and like anything related to that industry, I can do it through communication,
did
not
you
only
face
business.
challenges when you made that shift, or was it a smooth one, that transition?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Did you, when you did that transition from business courses to going into more on communication side, did you
Yeah.
face any challenges?
No, the thing is, like when I first came here, I was also smart in a way. I could plan out how I wanted to do my degree. I was aware that if I can't finish a business degree, I must have backup options. So that's
Okay.
another good point in terms of for FIC, because with FIC you can actually position yourself in a way so that you can have backup options. The courses kind of weave each other. So like I can do a course for business, but that same course will count for a communications degree as well. So I kind of took courses which were in both of the degrees or both of the programs. And when I found out that like business wasn't for me, it was a much easier shift for me to go from business to communications, as the requirements were kind of the same.
That's great to know that it gave him that broad. That's great to know. That is definitely great to know. Sam, any stories that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I was actually thinking while my friend Aryan was actually like explaining his experience. My own was more non-academic. I would say my struggle. So আমি দেশে থাকতে রান্না পারতাম না, and ওটা আমার জন্য অনেক বড় একটা চ্যালেঞ্জ ছিল, because এখানে এসে I started living in dorms, like dormitory, and এখানে first semester I did take the meal plan, যেটা really helped me. But then তারপর I wanted to cook আমার টেস্টের খাওয়া, like একটু
Like,
like বাঙালি স্টাইল খাওয়া. So পরে first semester টা I remember, like second semester টা I remember struggling, না খেয়ে থাকা, and অনেকটা like রান্না না করতে পারার ইগুলা, যে অনেক অর্ডার আউট করতে হতো। বাট তারপরে like I felt like যে আমার FIC ফ্রেন্ডসরা would like help me, because তখন I was in FIC, and তখন I had FIC friends more. So তখন other students like myself যারা এখানে নতুন would like help me out with cooking, and like the stuff যেগুলো আমি পারতাম না, and এখন আমি অনেক ভালো রান্না করি। So
ও তাহলে
like
তো
I was
হবে ভ্যানকুভারে। এই জিনিস লাইক বাংলাদেশে থাকলে তখন ওই ভাত ডাল মানে নর্মাল খাওয়া খেতে ইচ্ছা করে না, বাট বিদেশে গেলে তখন দ্যাটস হোয়াট ইউ মিস, তখন মনে হয় যে না হাউ
exactly
রাইস
exactly because এখানে burgers and fast food is অনেক বেশি available, অনেক বেশি cheap, so ওটা like সব সময়, but ওটা মাঝে মাঝে like আমাদের টেস্টের সাথে ওটা মানে যায় না
সবসময় তো আর ভালো
অনেক,
লাগে রিয়েলাইজ
সব
না।
সময় ভালো লাগে না, ভ্যারাইটিটা ভালো লাগে। সো তখন যখন আই ক্যান মেক ইট মাই সেলফ, তখন ইটস মাচ কনভিনিয়েন্ট ফর মি, বিকজ আমি এখন চাইলে আমি এখনই পারবো, এরকম একটা
Have you
জিনিস।
been back home? Did you return to Bangladesh for you? Did you cook
I have,
or back?
yes, I have returned, I think 3 or 4 times,
And did
like
you
during vacations.
when you were back?
Yes.
What was the feedback? Or
Um in terms of what, like feedback in terms of
দেশে যে রান্না করেছে নাকি বাসায় সবার জন্য রান্না করে খাইয়েছে?
জি জি for আমি এবার actually করেছি, because last 2 times I wasn't very confident, but এবার I was, and এবার they actually loved it. Like আমার আম্মু was really surprised যে আমি এত ভালো রান্না করছি, because আমি দেশে কিছুই করতে পারতাম না এগুলা। So she was really proud যে she was like, yeah, you are now like self sufficient, like
Well rounded.
yeah, we're all rounded, I can, it's not just academically well kora, but life e bhalo kora. So to me, how to, like, you won't starve to death ever, এরকম
Yeah.
একটা,
I mean, taking care of yourself, these are life skills that you need to know.
you
Of
need to
course.
know for long term, exactly. So that was part
Ashik,
of my struggle.
now that's great, and you came out of it with flying colors. Ashik, do you want to share anything with us that was a learning?
Sure. Honestly, like I think Arya and Salma really covered it pretty well. See, I think one of the struggles with being an international student is where you start in life and versus where you have to go, and also where you came from. So আমি যখন বাংলাদেশে ছিলাম, like obviously staying with my family, everything was done for me. I wake up and breakfast was served. And that was a big change. That was a big change. So when I first started, um, I had to. Well, if you think of it, I was in a valley, right, and it was an upward struggle for me, and that was the biggest struggle. Definitely, like learning how to cook for sure. I think Bangladeshi food is the only way I can keep in touch with my culture.
Right.
It's a topic
Great
that
for you, not just keeping in
oh,
touch.
oh yeah, absolutely. And my friends here, who are non-Bangladeshis, they love our food. I'm like, yes, this is what I've been missing all the time. But anyways, like learning how to cook. When you're first year freshman, you are pinching pennies because you'll notice how things are so expensive here. You need to stop doing that, first of all, like stop converting taka to dollar, then it gets messy.
I think
But
that's good advice. That's very good advice. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then, at least for me, I started to appreciate money even more, in a way that I'm more aware of what you spend on and stuff like that, you are more aware of the worth. But then, you, like I said, you start. At least for me, I started very low, and then it was an upward movement. It was slow, but it was steady. I had to be patient, but it made me into a better man than I was.
Thank you. I mean, I would really like to thank all of you for, I mean, Saima, Ashik, and Aryan for sharing your journeys and how actually studying abroad, I mean, the growth that you see in yourself, that you've all, developed, you've become independent, confident, independent young people and ready for the world. And I think that studying abroad has essentially done for you. And we are, I mean, if I must may say, we are, as Bangladeshi, we're also proud to see you achieve and to attain your goals. Anthony, I wanted to, we're nearly towards the end of the show, but one thing that I wanted to emphasize is that, when we traditionally, as we were also mentioning, that the whole foundation sometimes are looked down upon. And then colleges, like, oh, college, not a university, people still struggle to grasp that idea. I know we talked about a lot how college, I mean, the support, but still, I would like to get some final remarks from you regarding actually what you would like to say about FIC and the whole concept of looking down upon college, and especially you are an SFU alumni yourself. So.
For sure. I think that's a good question. And I think Ashik actually spoke about a lot of it. When we talk about that transition from your home country, from your home city into Canada or wherever you're studying abroad, there's going to be so many changes. Some of them are going to be academic, and we realize those are going to come up. That's quite obvious. But some of them are also going to be the fact that here you're cooking for yourself. And I think just about every single one of our students, my friends, talked about that, learning how to cook in Canada, in Vancouver, and having to overcome that challenge. And it's a fun one, but that is something that is important. And so when we talk about FIC and when we talk about all these different challenges that actually come up when a student wants to come abroad, and more so when a student wants to do well. Because at the end of the day, if you like me, if you like any of the students on this panel, or even yourself, we're not just here to put in our time and graduate.
Right.
That's not our objective. We want to do well, we want to be successful, and when we graduate, we want to be finding those amazing jobs, our dream jobs. But in order to do that, you have to do the simple things well. You have to know how to get food for yourself. And when we talk about budget management, do you eat out all the time? There are great restaurants in Vancouver that serve South Asian food. But home cooking, I think you personalize it a lot more. It reflects you, it reflects your family recipes, and it's more fun. But it also saves money. And so it's all these different hurdles that do come up that will, and I can guarantee will come up regardless of where you go. FIC does an amazing job at working with its students, and we don't just give the information and leave it in front of you. But
yeah, we can clearly see that you don't. Yeah, that a lot of support goes in.
It is very much a two-way conversation about what kind of support do you look for, what kind of support are you needing right now, and then also understanding that, making sure we're providing that support to our current students, but figuring out how do we make sure and encompass that for our new students next year, for the next semester, and making sure that we are also developing ourselves. So when we talk about FIC, for me, it comes down to the question of, are you just looking to graduate from a great university? If so, go find a university, do well, and I do very much wish you the best. But if you are looking to graduate from that #1 comprehensive university in Canada and really seize upon the co-op opportunities there, and we talked to a range of different students, but everyone on this call is either in arts and social sciences or communications, but we are all very much having those dream jobs in mind. SFU will support you into that, but you set the foundation with FIC, and Aryan talked about this when he started working with FIC as a marketing specialist. That opportunity was actually only available to students at FIC.
And from the perspective of Canadian employers or Canadian education system, they're not at any disadvantage because they're starting at FIC. If any, they're much more well-rounded students or graduates when they come through that system. I think that comes across when we talk to
Very
Indian
much
students.
so. I think the biggest thing is that when you get your letter of offer, it's a joint letter of offer from FIC and SFU. So that's always exciting. And when you graduate, that bachelor's certificate is coming directly from SFU. No one really cares which way you started. They do very much care how you performed.
Right.
And did you graduate from a good university?
Thank you very much. Show here. আমরা আজকে এখানেই শেষ করছি। আমরা আশা করছি যে আপনারা কিছু ভালো ইনফরমেশন পেয়েছেন। আমরা তিনজন স্টুডেন্টের সাথে কথা বললাম, ওদের জার্নিটা নিয়ে জানলাম যে আসলে বাংলাদেশ থেকে এসে ওরা কিভাবে করে শিখলো এই কানাডা এডুকেশন সিস্টেম সম্বন্ধে শিখলো, নিজেদেরকে টেক কেয়ার করা শিখলো, রান্না করা থেকে শুরু করে বাজেট করা, আসলে টাইম মতন ক্লাসে যাওয়া, পুরো জিনিসটা তারা যখন অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইউনিভার্সিটি ট্রানজিশন করলো, এখন কাজও করছে ভালো। তো ভালো লাগলো ওদের কথাগুলো শুনে। আমাদের সবসময় চেষ্টা করি স্টুডেন্টদের কাছ থেকেও জানতে ওদের পার্সপেক্টিভটা। আর আজকে স্পেশাল ছিল, উই হ্যাড आवर গেস্টস ইন দ্য স্টুডিও উইথ আস। এটা সম্ভব হচ্ছে আমরা আসলে টরন্টোতে বসে টেপ প্রজেক্ট আগেই বলেছিলাম, যেখানে আমরা এখন সোশ্যাল ডিস্টেন্সিং এ লট অফ কিছুটা রিল্যাক্সেশন আমাদের সম্ভব হয়েছে। আর আমরা আশা করি সবাই যে যেখানেই আছেন কেয়ারফুল থাকবেন, কোভিড প্যান্ডেমিক এখনো শেষ হয়নি। সো মাস্ক ব্যবহার, সব রকম সেফটি মেজার্স নিয়ে সবাই যেখানে ভালো থাকবেন। আজকে এখানেই শেষ করছি।